animating textures in WebGL, and in this video this is our final outcome. So we want to create this, we want to add a video to our moving cube, and in this demonstration we build upon the previous example by replacing our static textures with the frames of an MP4 video file that's playing. This is actually pretty easy to do and fun to watch, so let's get started. You can use similar code to use any sort of data such as canvas as the source of your texture. So you can use this. You have this link, getting access to the video. The first step is to create the video element that we will use to retrieve the video frames. Note, add this declaration to the start of your WebGL demo.js script. So I haven't opened it yet, so I'm gonna go into my programming.js folder. I'm gonna have into my game folder. I'm gonna right click with my terminal, and then I'm just gonna type in code space that. And now, so this is opening in the Visual Studio Code, and I already downloaded the video, so and I already saved it in my folder named game, so you can download it. I'm gonna show you how to download it right now, but I already have it here. So I'm gonna go into the WebGL demo, and they said at the start, so add this declaration to the start of your WebGL script. So we are gonna have it's gonna be after the importing, so it's gonna be right here. So we're gonna have this let declaration, and it's gonna be named copy video. So it's gonna be copy video like that. Oops, it's gonna be copy video. Okay, and it has to be camel notation, so copy video. Okay, that's fine, and we're gonna set it to false. Okay, and then with a semicolon, so we'll have the let copy video, and let's set to this boolean false. So we'll set to true when video can be copied to texture. So we have that, and while we are in it, so let's go into the HTML file, and let's just press Alt+L, Alt+O, or just right click and open with live server. And right now this is what we have, the moving cube. We still have this picture, this lightning, but now we want to add some video, so it has to look like this. Okay, so let's close this one now. Okay, so add this function to your okay, you need to put that to add this function to your WebGL demo script. So add this function. Let me see, we are gonna close the HTML and we are gonna add this function. So let me see, we have this function here. Okay, add this function to your WebGL. So we're gonna just add it to the end. So we have this function is power of 2. We're gonna go below, and we are gonna have this function named setup video. So it's gonna be function, and it's gonna be setup video. So it's gonna be setup video like that. Okay, and okay, so we're gonna open parentheses. Okay, function setup video, and we're gonna pass in the URL as the parameters. We're gonna open curly braces, and we're gonna have this constant declaration. So we're gonna have this constant declaration name video, and we're gonna set it to the document that create element. So it's gonna be create element. So we have this constant declaration in video, and we're setting it to the document that create element, and we are gonna pass in this string name video. It's gonna be video inside double quotes. We ended up this statement with a semicolon. Okay, and we're gonna go below, and now we're gonna have some declarations. So we're gonna have the playing and the time update. So we are gonna have playing, so it's gonna be this let declaration. We're gonna name it playing, and we're gonna set it to something. So we're gonna set it to this boolean false, And now we're gonna have this let declaration, and it's gonna be the time update. So it's gonna be time update, and this is not camel notation because this is the word time update. So, and again we are setting it to false. Okay, so it's gonna be like this, false. We close, we ended up with semicolon, and now we have the, let me see, we're gonna have the video that plays in line, and we're gonna set it to true. Okay, so we're gonna have, okay, we have this constant declaration in video, so we're grabbing it, so video that, and it's gonna be place in. Okay, so I have it here, and you can read it. As you can see, gets or sets the place in line of the video element. For example, on iPhone, video elements will now be allowed to play in line and will not automatically enter full screen mode when playback begins. So we have that, and we have the video that plays in line, and we are setting it to true. Okay, so we can save that, and okay, so we're gonna move below, and we're gonna have in the video that muted, and we're gonna set it to something. We're gonna set it to true, so we're gonna set it to this boolean. So we have the video that plays in line, set it to true, and then the video that muted, set it to true, and then we also have the video that loop. Okay, it's gonna be video that, you just type L, and then okay, so it's gonna be the first one. So as you can read it, gets or sets a flag to specify whether playback should restart after a complete. So that's the loop. Okay, and we are gonna set it to true. We ended up with a semicolon. Okay, and now we're gonna waiting for these two events. Okay, waiting for these two events ensures there is data in the video. Okay, so we still have more code to type in. Okay, so we are gonna type in the video that eventually. Okay, so we're going back to Express, some videos that we did with Express, and we're gonna use the add event listener. So it's been a while. We're gonna go below. We are still inside of this function name set a video. We're gonna use the constant declaration in video, and we're gonna use this function or this method add event listener. So video that add. Okay, so you have it here. Okay, so this is the method, and you can read all this information. So we have this video that add event listener, and open parentheses, and inside of the parentheses we are gonna have one argument, and then we're gonna have an error function as the second argument, and then a boolean as a third argument. So let's start. So we're gonna have the playing. We're gonna have in the playing as the first argument, comma. We are gonna have we're gonna have as the second argument an error function, like that. We're gonna open curly braces, and we're gonna open curly braces, and let's just separate it by a comma here. And inside of the parentheses of the error function we have nothing, but inside of the curly braces we are gonna have in the playing, and we're gonna set the playing to true, to this boolean true, and then we are gonna have the check ready. So it's gonna be check. Okay, so it's gonna be check ready. We're gonna open parentheses. Okay, semicolon at the end. Okay, so and then we have the, okay, inside of the curly braces we have the playing set to true, and then we have check ready. So we're gonna go outside of the curly braces, we separated by a comma already, and as a third argument we are gonna pass in this boolean that is true, and we are gonna put a comma at the end, and then we're gonna end this statement with a semicolon at the end of the parentheses, and the parentheses is this one of the video that add event listener. So we're gonna go below, and now we're gonna have, let me see, another add event listener. So if you want you can just copy it, but I'm gonna type it in. So it's gonna be video that add event listener, and again we're gonna open parentheses, and we're gonna have one, two, again 3 parameters. So we're gonna have this time update, so this is string that is gonna be the time update. Okay, so as a second parameter we're gonna have an arrow function like that, and I'm gonna end it with a comma because we have as a second parameter, and I'm gonna put my third parameter already, that is gonna be true, and I'm gonna still work on my second parameter. So in the second parameter we're gonna have a string, and this string is gonna be, okay, so it's not gonna be a string, it's gonna be, we're gonna set a boolean. We're gonna have the time update, and we're gonna set it to true. So we're gonna have the time update, and we're gonna set it to true, and then with a semicolon, and then we're gonna have the function check ready. So oops, it's gonna be check, let me see, check ready. So check ready like that. So I type it wrong here, so ready should be like this. Okay, so let me double check. Okay, has to be camel notation also. So let me see, check ready, let me see, check ready, so that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna end up okay, true. In this parentheses we're gonna end it up with a semicolon, and we're gonna move to the next line outside of the parentheses of the second video that add event listener. And now we're gonna use the video that source, and we're gonna set it to the URL. So it's gonna be video that source, and we're gonna set it to the URL semicolon at the end. Since we are ending this statement, now we're gonna have the video that plays. So it's gonna be the video that play, and we're gonna set it to something. We're gonna, okay, so video that play, so we're using this method video that play, and I mean we ended up with a semicolon. Okay, and now let me see what else do we have here. Okay, so we have this function here, and let me see, add event listener, we have that. Okay, so we're gonna have a function named check ready inside of this function that we are working on, that is named setup video. So here we're gonna have this function name is gonna be check ready. Okay, so we have a function inside of a function. We're gonna open curly braces, and we're gonna pass in nothing as the parameter, but we're gonna have the if statement. If something, we're gonna do something. Okay, and if playing in time update. Okay, so inside of the parentheses of the if statement, so if playing double ampersand like this, if playing in time update, then we're gonna do something, and let me see, that something is gonna be copy video, and we're gonna set it to true. So it's gonna be like this, so copy video, and it's gonna be set to true, semicolon at the end. Okay, so we have the copy video set to true, that's fine. And okay, so let me see, this is the curly brace, we are just gonna end up here. So return video. Okay, so after okay, we start here, this is the curly brace of the check ready, so it ends up here. So outside of that we're gonna return the video, and let me see, return video. Okay, save it, and again we have been using this constant declaration in video that we have already set up to the document that create elements. So that is the one that we are returning. So let me see, nothing is changed. Okay, let's close this one, and also let's close, and also if you want a complete view of the code so you can check out, this is a link for the GitHub HTML, and this is the person who wrote the code. Okay, so we have that, let's close it out, and let's close this one. Okay, so First, we create a video element. We set it to autoplay, mute the sound, and loop the video. We then set up two events to make sure the video is playing and the time has been updated. We need both of these checks because it will produce an error if you upload a video to the WebGL that has no data available yet. Checking for both of these events guarantees there is data available and it's safe to start uploading video to the WebGL texture. And the code above, we confirm whether we got both of those events. If so, we set a global variable copy video to true to indicate that it's safe to start copying the video to a texture. Okay. And finally, we set up the source attribute. Let me see. So here we are setting the source attribute. This is the src. Okay, so finally we set up the source attribute to start and call play to start loading and playing the video. The video must be loaded from a secure source in order to be used to provide texture data to the WebGL. That means that you'll not only need to deploy code like using a secure web server, but you'll need a secure server to test with as well. See how do you set up a local testing server for help, so you can check out that link now, using the video frames as a texture. The next change is to initialize the texture, which becomes much simpler since we no longer need to load an image file. Instead, we create an empty texture object, put a single pixel in it, and set its filtering for later use. Okay, so now we're gonna replace the load texture function in the WebGL demo. Okay, so we're gonna go into the we are already in it, and I'm just gonna type in Control F, and the name is gonna be load texture, so it's gonna be the load texture like that. So let me see, just load texture, and let me see. So I have in line 188 the function load texture, and the one I have this. So one is the declaration, that is the texture set to the load texture, and the other is the function. So let me see, they are asking replace the load texture function in the WebGL demo with the following code. So let me see, we could just copy and paste it, but let's just keep typing in. So okay, so I'm gonna delete this or just close it. And okay, what else do we have here? So this function named load texture, and it's a little bit of code, but you know what, let's start typing in. So it's a good idea to start typing in. So it's gonna be let me see, just to see if I had it right. So we're gonna start from here, from line 188, and we're gonna go all the way to 246. So we're gonna go to 188. So I'm just gonna delete it. Okay, so if you want, just copy and paste, but let's start typing in. So we're gonna have we have deleted this function, and now if I save it, obviously that's what's gonna happen. But now we're gonna have in this function name, and we're gonna name it init texture. So we're gonna have the function name init texture like that, init texture, and then we're gonna pass in inside the parentheses, we're gonna pass in the GL, and we're gonna open curly braces, and we're gonna have this constant declaration name texture. So we're gonna have this constant declaration name texture, and we're gonna set it to something. So we're gonna set it to the GL that we're gonna use the create method. So we're gonna have create texture. So create texture, we're gonna create texture, we're gonna open parentheses, and we're gonna end it with semicolon. Okay, so we have that, And now we're gonna have in the GL that bind texture, so we will have bind texture. We have the GL that bind texture, and we're gonna open parentheses. Okay, so we're gonna end this statement with a semicolon, but inside of the parentheses we're gonna have two arguments, and it's gonna be the GL that, it's gonna be the texture underscore, it's gonna be texture, texture, I don't have it here, underscore 2D, so let me see, bind texture GL that texture underscore 2D. Okay, that's fine. And then we're gonna pass in the texture as the second argument. Okay, and then we can, let's just leave the comments there, because video has to be downloaded over the internet. They might take a moment until it's ready, so put a single pixel in the texture so we can use it immediately. So we're gonna have a 3, 6, 8 constant declaration. So we are gonna go here, we're gonna go and see, we are still inside of the function init texture, so we're gonna have this constant declaration name level, and we're gonna set it to 0. We're gonna enter up this statement with a semicolon. Okay, level set to 0. Then we have the internal format, so we have this constant name internal format, and we're gonna set it to the GL that, and it's gonna be RGBA semicolon at the end. Okay, and then we're gonna have this constant declaration in width, so it's gonna be this constant width, and we're gonna set it to 1. Okay, so width, and we're gonna set it to 1. The constant declaration height, like this, height, and we're gonna set it to 1 as well. So we're gonna set it height to 1. Then we're gonna have the const border, and we're gonna set it to 0. So okay, the border, we're setting it to 0. So width, and just double check your spelling. So if you have a mistake, maybe it's something you type wrong, you just add it or omit it, maybe a letter. So what is this? Okay, let's close this one. Okay, so let's continue. Now we're gonna have this constant declaration in name source format, and it's gonna be source format camel notation. We're gonna set it to source format, and we're gonna set it to the GL that, it's gonna be GL that RGBA, like this, semicolon at the end. Okay, then we're gonna have this constant, and it's gonna be source type, and we're gonna set it the source type, and we're gonna set it to the GL that, unsigned. So it's gonna be the unsigned, to the GL that unsigned underscore byte, like this, semicolon at the end. And then we're gonna have the constant declaration name pixel, and we're gonna set it to this keyword null, and we're gonna have the u integer 8. Okay, so I have here, so the u integer 8 array, we're gonna open parentheses, and we're gonna pass in an array, and it's gonna be the color 0, 0, and it's gonna be 255 and also 255. So ended up this statement with a semicolon. Okay, this is gonna be an opaque color, okay, blue. And okay, so we are still inside here of this init texture, and now we're gonna use the GL that, let's see what method. So let's see if I have the text image. So text image, no, I don't have. So text image 2D, so like that, text image. Okay, GL that text image 2D inside of the parentheses. Okay, we're gonna have the GL that texture underscore 2D. So we're gonna have the GL that, and it's gonna be let me see, it's gonna be texture. Oh, I have it already, so it's gonna be texture underscore 2D. That's fine, separated with a comma. We're gonna have also the label, okay, separated with a comma. We have the internal format, so it's gonna be internal format separated with a comma. We have the width, so we have the width, and we have the height, so like this. And we have the border, so we have the border. We have the, okay, so we have the source format. We have the source type now. Let me see, source type, the third one. And finally we have the pixel, so it's gonna be the pixel comma here. So let me see if this is right. Okay, so let me check it out. We have the GL that text image 2D. They have the texture underscore 2D. Okay, so we're gonna end it with a semicolon, and let me see. Okay, text image 2D. Okay, semicolon at the end of the parentheses, and we're gonna keep moving down. Okay, we're almost done. We just need this little piece of code. So turn off MIPS and set wrapping to clamp to edge, so it will work regardless of the dimensions of the video. Okay, so now we're gonna use the text parameter I, so you have to type it like it is. Don't add the letter T to text, so we're gonna have GL dot text parameter I, open parentheses, text parameter I, we're gonna open parentheses, and we're gonna, okay, let's end it up with a semicolon, but we're gonna pass in some parameters. So it's gonna be GL dot, and it's gonna be texture underscore 2D, so it's gonna be texture underscore 2D. The second parameter is gonna be the GL dot texture, the GL dot texture. Let me see, texture. It's not gonna be underscore 2D, but it's gonna be underscore wrap, and then it's gonna be the letter S. So GL dot texture underscore wrap underscore S. And then as a third parameter, now we're gonna have in the GL dot, and it's gonna be clamp to edge. So it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be clamp to edge. GL. Okay, so we're gonna have the GL dot clamp underscore to underscore edge. Okay, so we have that, and that is for the text parameter I. So now we're gonna have something similar, so let's just copy this one and let's go to the next line. We're gonna type the same thing, but we're gonna change the parameter. So we're gonna have text parameter I is the same, so the first parameter inside of the parentheses is the same, but the second one, the only thing is changing the letter capital S for capital T. And then we have the GL underscore to edge, so clamp to edge, that's fine. Okay, so now we're gonna type into the next line, and we're gonna have the same, but we're gonna change the parameter. So the second parameter is gonna change to texture. It's gonna be texture, but it is gonna be main. It's gonna be main. What else? So it's gonna be main underscore filter. So it's gonna be main underscore filter, and main. Okay, and then the third parameter is gonna be just the GL. I mean the GL dot linear. So it's gonna be GL that, and then it's gonna be linear like that, and then save it with the same. Save it. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. Okay, so outside of this, after the semicolon, we're gonna return the let me see, we're gonna return the texture, so it's gonna be return texture. Okay, so we are using this constant declaration name texture, so that is the one that we are returning, and we finally end up with this piece of code. So okay, now add the following function to the WebGL demo. So we're gonna add some functions. So okay, so it wasn't that much, but now let's add a function, and let me see which one. This was the last function. Okay, so let me see, so this curly braces starts here. Okay, so this is right here, so we're gonna add a function here. So add the following function, so we are not updating, we're just adding information. So it's gonna be function, and it's gonna be named update, function update texture. So it's gonna be function update texture. We're gonna pass in 3 arguments. We're gonna pass in the GL, we're gonna pass in the texture, and also we're gonna pass in the video, like that. So the video, and inside of the curly braces we're gonna, okay, we have the GL, the texture, and the video, and inside of the curly braces we have 4 constant declarations. So we have this constant declaration name level, and we're gonna set it to 0. We have this constant declaration name internal format, and we are gonna set it to the gl.rgba, and set it, okay, ended up with a semicolon at the end. So this is the internal format. Then we have this constant declaration name source format, so I have it here. We're gonna set it to the gl.rgba, so it's gonna be gl.rgba, semicolon at the end. So the constant declaration internal format and source format, they are both set to the gl.rgba, and this is the color. So below that we are gonna have another constant declaration, so it's gonna be constant declaration name bind texture. So now it's gonna be the source type, so it's gonna be the source, this one, the third one, source type, and we're gonna set it to something. So it's gonna be set to the gl.unsigned, this one, unsigned underscore byte, and again we're gonna end up this statement with a semicolon. And okay, so now we're gonna go here, and we're gonna have the gl dot, and we're gonna have in divine texture, and we're gonna open parentheses, and we're gonna have 2 parameters, gl dot texture underscore 2d, okay, texture underscore 2d, and then we're gonna have as a second parameter just the texture. Okay, so semicolon at the end. Okay, so we have the gl.bind texture, gl.bind texture, gl.texture underscore 2d texture. We're gonna go below, and we're gonna have in the gl dot, and we're gonna have in the text image, we're gonna have, oops, I made a mistake, I typed text adding a t, so you have to omit that t. And sometimes your code is not gonna work because you just added a letter or you just omitted a letter, so just double check. And if you have problems, you just go and check out the code here. So okay, so we have the gl.text image, and then it's gonna be 2d like this. Okay, so I have it here, open parentheses, and okay, inside of the parentheses we're gonna pass in some parameters. So we're gonna have first of all the gl dot, and it's gonna be in uppercase letters, texture underscore 2d. Then we're gonna have in the level, so it's gonna be level, comma, and what else do we have? So it's gonna be pretty similar, so it's gonna be the internal format. Okay, then it's gonna be the source format, then it's gonna be the source, the source type, but comma, we need to separate it by comma, the source type, and finally it's just gonna be the video. So let me see if we have it right. So gl.text image 2d, Then we have the gl.texture underscore 2d, the label. We have the internal format. We have the source format. We have the source, internal format, the source format. We have the source type, and then we have the video. Okay, semicolon at the end of the parentheses, and we're gonna continue typing in. No, we just finished. Okay, so that's fine. We can save it, and nothing has changed. We haven't even downloaded the video, so I already did it, but not yet in this tutorial. So you've seen this code before. It's nearly identical to the image unload function in the previous example, except when we call text image to the, instead of passing an image object or an image object, we pass in the video element. WebGL knows how to pull the current frame out and use it as a texture. Next, we need to call these new functions from our main function. So they're talking about in your main function, replace the call to load texture with this code. Okay, so again, when they say our main function, they're referring to the WebGL-demo file, so this one, and load texture. So now we already have one, so if you type Ctrl F, it's just gonna be this one, and this one is the constant declaration name texture that we are setting it to the load texture. So this is not a function, this is the constant declaration. Okay, so now what we are gonna do is in your main function, replace the call to load texture with this. Okay, so it's gonna be constant declaration. Let me see if I flip the image pixel to the bottom. No, we are not gonna touch that one. We're just gonna touch the line 108, so this one. Let's just delete this whole thing. So again, it's just gonna be a constant declaration name, and we're gonna name it texture. Okay, we're gonna name it texture, and we are gonna set it to the init texture, and we're gonna pass in, we're just gonna pass in the GL. Okay, semicolon at the end. But now we're gonna have another constant declaration in video, and we're gonna set it to something. It's gonna be to the setup video in camel notation, setup video. Let me see, it's like this, setup video, and setup video, and then we're gonna have we're gonna pass, let me see, I'm gonna type it in like this. I think I already I think when I did the setup video I typed it in camel notation, but let's keep it like this, setup video, and inside of this parentheses we're gonna pass in, it's gonna be that mp4, but it's gonna be, what is the name, let me see, it's gonna be Firefox. Obviously it's gonna be Firefox. Okay, so let me see something real quick. So it's gonna be setup. Okay, setup video. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So let me check it out real quick. Setup video. Let me see. Let me check it out real quick. Setup video. I think but I already typed that U with capital U, so I don't think it's gonna have setup video. So the function is setup video. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna just change that, and then so we're gonna have like this, it's gonna be setup video, and setup just normal, and then video starts with camel notation. So let's go for the second one. This one is also gonna be setup video. Yeah, little things like that, they're gonna prevent your code from working. So let's see if that's fine. Setup video, that's fine, and then setup video. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So now, okay, let's close this one, and let me see if I already what it was in Firefox. Okay, now Firefox. Okay, so we're already here, and let's just double check. So we have the texture init texture GL, then we have the constant declaration in video, and we're setting it to set a video, and we're gonna pass in the Firefox no camel notation here, and the extension is gonna be mp4. Note, you'll also need to download the Firefox that mp4 file to the same local directory as your JavaScript file. So you just click here, and okay, sorry about that, we cannot show you, so you can click here, or you can just pretty much download it, and they're gonna ask you where do you want to download it, and you just download it in your folder that you have your other files. So I have a folder named games, and I have inside of my folder games I have these files, the WebGL.js, Ina.js, the draw scene, I have this picture, and I have downloaded it already, this video. So that's pretty much it. So now let's close this one, and okay, and your main function replace the render function with this. So let me see how much code. There's not much code, so let's just do it. So and your main function replace the render function. So again, I'm just gonna Control F, so Control F and render. Okay, so we have just pretty much this rendered. So this is the function that we want to take it out. So I'm gonna click here, and as you can see, it starts in line 116 and ends it up in 125. I'm just gonna delete it, so yeah, like that. And we're gonna type in function, and we're gonna name it render. Okay, so we have this function named render, and let me see, we're gonna pass in now as the parameters, and inside of the curly braces we're gonna have in the now, but we're gonna have the asterisk equal sign, and we're gonna have 0.001 and semicolon at the end, so convert to seconds. So now we're gonna have the delta time, so we're gonna have the delta, we're gonna have in the delta time, and we're gonna set it to now minus the then, so like that. So now minus then, semicolon at the end, and then we're gonna have then, and we're gonna set it to now, so semicolon at the end, then, and we're gonna set it to now. Okay, so that's fine. Below that we're gonna have the if statement declaration, so we're gonna have some conditions. If those conditions are met, we're gonna do something. So we're gonna pass in the copy video as the parameter, and okay, here if the copy video, then we're gonna update texture, so we're gonna update texture, and we're gonna pass in the GL as the argument. We're also gonna pass the texture and the video, so the texture and also the video, like that. Ended up with a semicolon, like that. Save it, and let me see, nothing is changing yet. Okay, so now we're gonna do is outside of the if statement declaration, we are gonna have in this call. So this is the outside of the if statement declaration, but it's still inside of this function named render. We're gonna have in the draw scene, we're gonna open parentheses, so we have the draw scene, and we have 1 2 3 4 5 parameters. So we have the GL, we have also the program info, we have the buffers, okay, the buffers, we have the texture, and finally we have the cube rotation. So we have the cube rotation, so we already cube rotation, and just double check. So GL, program info, buffers, texture, cube rotation, and there are with a semicolon. And now we're gonna have the cube rotation, and we're gonna have the addition operator, the addition assignment operator, set to delta time, like that. And yeah, this is pretty much saying cube rotation. The assignment operator delta time is pretty much saying as the cube rotation is gonna be equal to the cube rotation plus the delta time. So we have that. Let's keep moving. So now we're gonna request animation frame and we're gonna pass in the function. So request, let me see, request. Okay, so as you can see we have it already here. So function request animation. Okay, so we can have it, and then we're gonna pass in the function that is render, semicolon at the end. And let me see if I did it. Request render. So I want to check something here. Okay, delta, it's gonna be delta time, it's gonna be delta, yeah, it's gonna be delta time, like this, semicolon at the end. And okay, so let me see, we are gonna have the, okay, so we're gonna have the request again. So pretty much request animation frame, and we're gonna pass in the render like this, semicolon at the end. Okay, so let me see. Oops. Okay, so as you can see, it's already starting to work. As you can see, this is the video that we have already, and it's moving. So you can also add your own videos if you want. So that's what we have here. If copy video is true, we call update texture just before we call the draw scene function. That's all there is to it. So that's pretty much, that was kind of not much code, but yeah, that is pretty interesting. So this is how it should be working, and this is exactly how it's working for us. So it starts like this, and this is the video. So make sure that you have downloaded the video. And so yeah, this is pretty much all that we have for the, let me see, to the animating textures in WebGL.